Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, your station for empowerment, music, and talk radio. EB Radio presents Empower Hour with Jaresha. A show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The Empower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Are you looking to build recognition for your business and brand? Asking for guidance isn't something to be afraid of. At Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, or EB Radio, we help you start a radio station and/or podcast to gain instant credibility for your business and brand, and grow and reach new audiences all over the world. Our team has you covered and wants your show launch to be done with smooth and ease. Our team provides you with a dedicated mentor and coach to ease the stress and challenges of launching your show. Our team takes care of your show flyer, intro and outro, putting your show on the podcast platforms, and creating a scheduler to book and manage guests. EB Radio brings empowerment music and talk radio 24/7 to 170 countries around the world to empower for growth and success. Visit www.envisionbroadcasting.com. Good evening, amazing people, and welcome to Empower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore-Smith, and it's another amazing Wednesday, y'all. If this is your first time tuning in to the Empower Hour with Jaresha show, I am so happy that you're tuning into the show this evening. I want you to know that I believe you have the power to be great, have great, and do great. You just have to be willing to unleash your greatness and take action. So on this show, I speak with leaders, motivators, and influencers who want to share their stories and journeys to empower the world for growth and success. And so before we jump in this evening, and I'm going to share with you all what I'm going to talk about this evening, but I am super excited. And if you've tuned into other shows, you've heard me talk about this as well. But I'm really excited because we are going to be celebrating. So the Empower Hour with Jaresha show will be celebrating our 100th episode in August. And when I tell you, you don't want to miss the shows, like the whole month of August, you don't want to miss the shows because I am going to be sharing and speaking on my journey to 100 and what that truly means. So the successes and then those moments that I've, had the uncertainties and some of the bloopers and, just everything that comes along with it. And it's going to be truly amazing. So please stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. So now that we've kind of gotten all of that out the way, amazing people, I am really excited to talk to you all today about building your own table. And building your own table, or building a table, and truly what that has meant for me. So my entrepreneurial journey and what it's been like over the years. So today I'm going to share more with you about what that means, or what that's meant to me about building your own table, and that you can have a seat at, and you can invite others too. So what I will tell you is that hasn't always been, my experience with this table, if you will, and I say table with the quotation quotation marks, but that hasn't always been my experience of, when you think of even being invited to the table. And so because of that, I really want to dive into what that has truly meant for me from the corporate world, and then also from my entrepreneurial journey. See, I have always had an entrepreneurial mindset. And I believe for me, it was something that was passed down from generations. Now, you may not believe that, but I truly feel that. I feel like it was a generational thing. So I can remember when I was a little girl and I became so interested in learning more about my mom and her being a boss. Okay. Now, there were times where I would literally, like the way that the school system was set up, and I could actually catch the bus from my mom's job. The school bus would come to her job to pick me up. And so when she got up to go to work in the morning, my dad would take my mother and myself to her job. And that meant I got to go to her office and sit in her chair and sit at her desk, and I can remember being super excited. Now, mind you, y'all, I was 6 years old. I can remember being super excited because of all, like, looking at her desk and the file cabinets and everything else, and just seeing all the paperwork and the notepads. And I remember writing and doodling and thinking I was working on my own paperwork. And I was like my mom, who was a boss at her job, and I wanted to do that. So I wanted what came with it, not necessarily to be working for someone else, but I was like, you know what? She's a boss. And this was at a point, years back when we weren't really referring to, oh, this person is bossing up and they're, a boss. But supervisor, however you want to look at it, I would look at her and think, oh my goodness, what she was doing, I wanted to do. And her working on the computer and doing the paperwork and managing things. And, so even at the young age of 6, something was starting to develop within me. And knowing that, in case you're thinking, like I'm the only one, I want you to take a moment and think back to the first time that you realized or discovered that in yourself. Was it when you were young? Was it when maybe you had like a lemonade stand as a child, or you had some kind of school fundraiser that you were determined and you were walking around knocking on doors and so determined to sell the most cookies or magazines or whatever it may be to win something? I believe that is the entrepreneur mindset. And even if some of you that did have that and did that are entrepreneurs now, I believe that that develops. There was something, I always felt like there was always something within me that has that drive for more and never wanting to settle for a table that you may or may not get invited to. And so I just, I think back to that time, those times when I was young and I never had the lemonade stand. I did have things that I was selling throughout the years in school, but I really think back to me just looking at my mom like, oh my goodness, she was truly a boss, and me wanting to develop that. I always said as I got older that I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't think of it as I wanted to build my own table, but I wanted to build my own table. I wanted to be my own boss. I knew there was something within me. See, I was always taught too that I was unstoppable, and the only person that needs to believe that and feel that and act that was me. I truly feel like we casually just throw around the word unstoppable. But do you really know the power of being unstoppable? And are you acting accordingly? It means that nothing, okay, nothing and no one can even try to stop you. It can't stop you at all, okay? And when you're unstoppable, you are unstoppable in all areas of your life. You can't decide to turn it off in one area and then turn it back on. I need you right now to own your unstoppableness. Because what I have learned is that in order to build your own table, it requires you to recognize those things about yourself as well as your journey. Now, I'm going to tell you just what building your own table has meant for me. I feel like I've talked, we're talking about being unstoppable. I've talked a little bit about being resilient and um, how we are just having to be unstoppable in our lives and all of that. But let me tell you, there was a point in my life when I thought me being in the corporate world with my MBA, my experience, my qualifications, skills, you name it, all of it, okay? I felt like it was going to help me get a seat at the table where I could learn more and grow and move up the corporate ladder. But let me tell you, when I tell you I learned really fast with the company that I worked for, that sometimes what you want and what they want is not the same. So I'm going to say that again. Sometimes what you want and what they want and what you get. Let's talk about that. What actually happens, because it's more than likely not the same of what you want. And I also learned that as a Black woman in a corporate world of male dominated, and let me be clear, white male dominated leaders, that your skills, qualifications, education, or experience, okay, it doesn't get you an invitation to the table. A table that was designed to keep you out. And I'm not speaking about all organizations, so let me just put that out there. I can't speak on all organizations, but I know enough about several of the organizations and I've had several conversations with others who have the same journey, the same experience. And so I wouldn't want to just put that out there. I am talking about my own experience. Now, I say all of this because there was a time in my life when I had to take a really good look at my professional career in the organization I worked for and the organizations that had approached me about opportunities. And I had to ask myself, is this what I want? Is this what I really want? Do I feel like I'm in purpose? My answer was, I am helping someone else fulfill their purpose. But what about mine? What am I going to do about what I feel like God has called me to do? So while I was in corporate, I launched my side businesses. And hold up, wait a minute, because when I was after I launched, I felt like, oh my goodness, this is so good. I felt so good because I had trained and developed myself as a leader, which ultimately helped me lead both in the corporate world that I was in as well as my businesses. But the one thing that I recognized is that I valued myself, my purpose, and my development way more than a company that said that they valued me, but yet overlooked me several times for promotions and pretty much told me that I needed to be happy with where I was. And if I wanted to grow, I needed to move backwards instead of forward. You heard me right. You heard me right. And keep in mind, this was a point in my life when I had launched my business and had coaching clients and was truly, really starting to develop myself as the leader and developing others. And so the day that I was told that I needed to, move backwards in order to move forward, there was something that I truly recognized that day. Oh, that was just like, you know how you have those aha moments? That was an aha moment for me. It is so amazing how there are just so many opportunities for us to learn, right? Now, I didn't see it as that learning opportunity right then because my feelings were hurt. My feelings were hurt. You know, you think, at least I thought, I had invested my time, had developed relationships, I had worked extremely hard on hitting goals after goals, year after year, helped implement processes and systems, and was very innovative, for the department, for the team, for the organization. But that day I recognized something that I would never get the opportunity to move or advance, because that day I recognized that the person that was sitting on the other side of me, that was supposed to be leading, lacked good leadership skills. So I ask, how do you grow? How do you grow under a leader who says he or she believes in growth and development, but the actions show otherwise? How do you grow under a leader who doesn't truly value you or what you bring to the table? Truth is, development and growth is very personal, and it's your responsibility for making sure you're growing and, excuse me, and it's your responsibility for the growth and development side of things. However, when we think of growth and advancement as far as being moved into other positions or being promoted, whoever your direct reporting to, they are the one who is responsible. They are the one who should be empowering you and helping you, grow, and helping you shift, and helping you really be able to level up within your organization. But I will tell you this, a good leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And I felt like that day, and even prior to that day, and several days after, I felt like I was being told to stay in a box. And unfortunately, with me, that is just simply not possible. It just simply won't do. And I hope that so many others that may feel like, if this is your situation, that you are being told you need to stay in a box, or whatever area in your life, in your professional world, whatever area it may be, that you simply say to yourself, oh no, that's not possible. It simply won't do. Now, I mentioned being unstoppable for a reason, because we have to be unstoppable with whatever that thing is that you're trying to do. So, growth, you cannot stop growing. And if you're in any position in your life where you felt like you're not growing, then it's time to make some changes. So, I began to grow and develop outside of the corporate world. And because I was so passionate about it, it happened so quickly in a way that I knew it was God that was all through it. I believe that God leads and guides us. And I also believe there are seasons of our lives that we have to recognize when the season has ended or needs to end. And we are holding on to something that should have ended a long time ago. Listen, I'm talking about building your own table. When I tell you that this is so powerful and emotional for me, because I see so many who don't recognize their value. They don't recognize their worth and what they bring to the table, because they don't recognize that you cannot expect someone else to recognize it. If you don't recognize your own value, you can't expect someone else to recognize your value. But what I'm really talking about today is the fact that you may recognize your value, your worth, and what you bring to the table. But they, mm, hmm, but they, they may recognize it. Matter of fact, most of them do recognize it as well, but do nothing. So I'm talking to the leaders that recognize your value, your worth, and what you bring to the table, and they are not empowering you to do more. They are not helping you to do more, and they are simply doing nothing. Listen, let me tell you, that I felt like that was my cue. That was me being told that I needed to exit to the left. I felt like that was the sign being waved in my face, telling me that this will never change. Look how many years you have given and how many times you've been overlooked. It's been time, okay? It's been time for you to step it up and take it to the next level. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I have these moments when I have these conversations with myself, and I had to talk to myself. Okay, I truly believe in having conversations with ourselves, because whether, I'm not saying like you have to say it out loud or anything like that, but I think it's truly some value in having a conversation with yourself. Sometimes I definitely feel that there's value in conversing with yourself, but I had to have this conversation with myself like I was talking to one of my clients, but more in your face. And so for me, the conversation really was like, you know what, Jaresha, really, you are not happy. You do not feel valued. You have had conversations with HR and VPs, and yet your ideas are wanted. But you as a black woman, you as a black woman, you as a black woman in this role is just what's going to be. You will, at this point, you're not able, or they don't see you being able to move as a black woman in a different role. So, yes, your ideas are wanted, but you moving into a different role as a black woman, no. Are you surprised? You have seen so many qualified people leave for the same reason. This has, this whole thing has not fulfilled you. You are not fulfilled. But this is stopping you from blooming into what God has for you. So, yes, you are a black woman. You are an educated black woman with many years of experience, over 20 something years of experience. You have your MBA, you're working on your doctorate. Know that there are times in your life where you have to be willing to say, you know what, this season has ended. I'm no longer growing here. So it's time for me to go. You are at a point in your career in this company where you can't grow. And they want you to stay here, right here in this box, and remain stagnant and happy, because guess what? You're getting a paycheck. How much longer are you going to keep feeling like this? When are you going to do something about it? You love empowering others for growth and success. And this won't allow you to flourish or thrive. So it's time for you to go. And let me be honest, okay? Let me be honest, because like I said, that is the conversation that I literally had with myself. Like I was inside of my head, playing this over and over again, really trying to boost up what I knew I needed to do and step away from the fear that stops us from being, doing, and having the things that we want in life. And so, one of the things that I want to really dive into, that I'm going to pick up on the next, when we go to part two, and I'll talk more about the fear and all of that that keeps us from moving forward, especially when it comes down to building your own table, because fear plays a part in that. And with me, the fear was driving Fear was driving a lot of what was going on with me continuing to stay in a place that did not value who I was, my experience, and what I brought to the table. And truth be told, because we are talking about the table, and so what I brought, because honestly, it never allowed me to get to a point where I could have a seat at the table. So I want to throw that out there. And, truthfully, if I'm going to be honest, I have been manifesting and working in the background on so much for my businesses and ultimately building, and building some more and connecting. So I really listened to that inner voice and I made the decision to step away and continue building my own table. The truth is, I was building my own table the whole time when I was working early morning, getting up at 4 a.m. and then working late nights. I was building my own table. I was building a table that I knew I deserved, one that I would value myself, as well as a table that would recognize the potentials of so many others and invite them to the table as well. I believe that as a leader, we have a responsibility to empower others. And if you are leading and not empowering, or if you are not feeling empowered by your leader, it's time to have a conversation. It completely blows my mind of all of these companies and organizations who have leaders that in some way or another are using their power for bad instead of good. And I say power because as a leader, you have the power to pour into others in order to help them grow, in order to help them develop. That is a whole nother show. So one of these days I'll jump into talking really about the good leader versus the bad leader, and how we truly continue to empower those that we're influencing, because it's at the end of the day, it's about influence and how much we all have influence. But when you're leading others, you have a responsibility to empower them. And there is a saying that says people don't leave companies, they leave bosses. Well, let me tell you, that is true. That is so true. So maybe you're listening right now and feeling the same way that I did. And you have been working, on the side and working your side business as well. I really just want to encourage you right now. I encourage you to keep striving, keep strategizing, and taking action. If your goal is to build your own table, then make sure you have a plan and action items that you're working on to do just that. And let no one stop you, because you are unstoppable. There is so much more that I want to share with you about my journey. And that is one of the reasons why I said I was going to turn this into a two-parter, because there's so much that we can really tap into with building your own table and, taking you on this entrepreneurial journey of mine. So I didn't mention earlier the empowerment quote for today that I am pondering, but you may already know that the quote that I'm pondering and have been pondering for some time and even some years is, instead of begging for a seat, build your own table. So today I want to just leave you with this. What will it take for you to build your own table? What dreams or goals do you need to revisit? As one who has built my own table, I can tell you that it is the best experience. It has been the best journey in the world. And I'm going to tell you also that I'm going to share more about this journey, my experience, in August. So tune in to learn more. As always, I thank you all so much for tuning in to the Empower Hour with Jaresha show this evening. If you are interested in starting your own show or being a guest on the show to share your amazing story and journey, to equip, encourage, and empower others for growth and success, please visit the EB Radio website at www.envisionedbroadcasting.com to learn more. Please tune in next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you will hear another amazing story and journey from a leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, stay safe and be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journey in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit www.empoweronpurpose.com. Remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.